Tabbie, the protagonist, consistently has difficult mornings at school. She feels constantly observed and judged by her peers, convinced they're waiting for her to make mistakes. Ironically, other students actually admire her aloofness, viewing her as cool and intimidating, though Tabbie remains oblivious to this positive perception. Tabbie encounters Eden, whom she considers her nemesis. A misunderstanding occurs when Tabbie needs to access her locker. Feeling threatened when Eden reaches toward her, Tabbie defensively slaps Eden's face. Their homeroom teacher, referred to as Mr. Teacher, intervenes and directs everyone to class. In homeroom, Mr. Teacher attempts to control the class's Halloween excitement by starting a presentation on Halloween's history, including its origins in the pagan festival Samhain. While some students listen, others continue discussing costume plans and Halloween preparations, much to the teacher's frustration. When Tabbie makes a remark about Eden being a bully, Mr. Teacher singles her out, asking if she has something to share. Tabbie nervously deflects by expressing excitement about Halloween decorations. Mr. Teacher reluctantly abandons his presentation and shifts to discussing decoration plans with historical context. Mr. Teacher divides decoration assignments among students based on Halloween knowledge. When the topic of skeletons arises, Tabbie eagerly raises her hand but is passed over in favor of Eden. This perceived injustice infuriates Tabbie, who feels repeatedly overlooked and unfairly treated. Unable to contain her frustration, Tabbie bursts out that the situation is unfair. Mr. Teacher suggests Tabbie and Eden work together on decorations. Other students comment that Tabbie prefers to work alone, comparing her to Batman or the Joker. Eden makes a hurtful comment, comparing Tabbie to the Joker, but with an upside-down smile. Eden, Tabbie, and their classmates are engaged in playful banter during what appears to be Halloween decoration planning. Eden extends a friendly gesture to Tabbie, but she responds with a death glare. When the teacher suggests Tabbie work with Eden, she adamantly refuses. Tabbie feels overlooked when the teacher appears to favor Eden over her. As the class divides into groups for decoration assignments, Tabbie sits alone, dwelling on her embarrassment. The classroom gradually becomes more festive with Halloween decorations. The teacher distributes spooky stickers to reward the students, but noticeably skips Tabbie. Several classmates invite Tabbie to join their groups, but she declines all offers, stating she prefers to work alone. A popular student named Kalem approaches Tabbie, suggesting they should work together against Eden. Tabbie is initially suspicious of his intentions, but feels a strange sensation when he touches her shoulder. Though reluctant about developing any feelings, she appreciates finally having someone who sees her value. When Kalem suggests involving Eden in addressing the situation with the teacher, Tabbie firmly refuses. As class ends and other students leave, only Tabbie and Kalem remain to speak with the teacher. The teacher, trying to maintain composure, reflects on how challenging it is to deal with difficult students like Tabbie. He recalls rumors about her previous Halloween antics involving Owns and braces himself for their conversation. Tabbie attempts to discuss her concerns with the teacher, drawing confidence from Kalem's presence. The teacher appears confused and hurt by her accusations. When Tabbie gestures to the empty space beside her, supposedly where Kalem stands, the teacher becomes increasingly perplexed, realizing no one else is in the room with them. The teacher steps into the hallway and spots Eden talking with Kalem. Feeling vindicated that Tabbie was mistaken, he invites Eden back into the classroom. Tensions rise as Tabbie and Eden argue in front of the teacher, who begins experiencing a severe headache and growing irritation with the students. The teacher's frustration intensifies into resentment toward the students. His demeanor changes dramatically as he begins to transform into something monstrous. Tabbie and Eden watch in horror as their teacher turns into a lizard-like creature that attacks Tabbie, destroying desks and quartering her against the locked classroom door. As Tabbie gives up hope of escape, a tiny red pixie appears, distracting the monster temporarily. The pixie identifies itself when Tabbie questions it, admitting it cannot handle the situation alone. The pixie narrowly avoids the monster's attacks by retreating to the ceiling, then suddenly has a realization as it looks between Tabbie and the monster. In a chaotic classroom scene, Strength produces a sparkly wand, which Mr. Monster attempts to swipe. The wand flies toward Tabbie, who grabs it and prepares to defend herself. Despite avoiding Mr. Monster's jaws, Strength provides Tabbie with clear instructions on what to do next, while the monster remains focused on him. Tabbie weighs her options and decides to eat some candy despite her initial hesitation. Gripping the wand with fear and fury, she chooses the suspicious candy over facing the monster's jaws, though internally hoping it isn't strawberry-flavored. After consuming the candy, Tabbie reorients herself and notices Mr. Monster staring at her with a bewildered expression. She searches for Strength, but can't find him, instead noticing she's now wearing a gaudy red and black outfit, complete with a giant pom-pom. Strangely, she can hear Strength's voice inside her head. Tabbie trembles, both crying and laughing at her ridiculous situation as bells in her outfit jingle. The sound attracts Mr. Monster, who pounces with claws aimed at her head. Surprisingly, Tabbie dodges with a perfect backflip, suggesting the candy might have given her enhanced abilities. Taking advantage of her newfound agility, Tabbie grabs decorations from the wall and wraps them around Mr. Monster's legs, temporarily restraining him. As the makeshift bindings begin to tear, Tabbie aggressively swings the wand at Mr. Monster, managing to smack him in the face. Tabbie swings the wand in wider circles, creating a soft blur that envelops them both. Magically, her ridiculous outfit disappears and she returns to her normal clothes. Mr. Monster's whimpers transform into the groans of Mr. Teacher, who struggles against the bindings and looks around in horror. Students burst into the classroom after hearing commotion, discovering Tabbie standing over their bound and bruised teacher. The room is in shambles, with shredded decorations and furniture. The students immediately accuse Tabbie of attacking Mr. Teacher, despite her insistence that he had transformed into a monster. Mr. Teacher, in pain and refusing to confirm Tabbie's account, heads to the nurse's office with help from students. The others continue blaming Tabbie for the destruction, particularly upset about ruined Halloween decorations. The situation escalates until Callum intervenes, suggesting they drop the unpleasantness. After the crowd disperses, Tabbie notices Kalem has a pixie companion named Magician on his shoulder. Kalem confesses his involvement, explaining that his intention was to get a bully named Eden in trouble. Magician, described as the pixie of magical influence, can trigger transformations and manipulate situations. Kalem insists Tabbie was never in real danger and claims he would have stepped in if needed. He explains he contained the monster to protect the school and Tabbie's reputation. Despite his claims of looking out for her, Tabbie remains skeptical of his true intentions in this elaborate scheme. A conversation unfolds between characters about combining their powers. While one character suggests they could reach great heights and inflict punishment together, another prefers talking things out. They discuss their mutual frustration with someone named Eden, described as a bully who starts fights and torments others. Debbie feels validated, expressing that despite past suffering, things are different now. The conversation shifts as they conclude that Eden is at fault, not them. This leads to troubling talk of using powers to curb evil, specifically targeting Eden. When one character suggests blasting Eden, another intervenes, warning against attacking a random kid. Debbie insists Eden is not random but her rival, describing him as demented and cruel, convinced he deserves punishment. Their moral debate continues, with Strength arguing against Tabbie's vengeful attitude. Strength insists that evil isn't simply whatever you dislike, but Debbie disagrees, claiming vengeance is the strongest emotion. She believes their cause against Eden is just, though Strength appears concerned about targeting an 8th grade boy. The next day at Middling Middle School brings Halloween Spirit Week festivities. Announcements mention judging for decorations and other activities. Despite her newfound powers, Debbie feels dread entering her homeroom. She questions why she should fear others' opinions now that she's powerful, but Strength suggests this feeling might stem from guilt about damage she caused. Debbie twists Strength's words to justify revenge, claiming that with great power, she can even the odds after being prey all her life. She resolves not to consider others' feelings, just as they never considered hers. When entering the classroom, she's surprised to find all the damage from yesterday has been repaired. Debbie discovers that Eden stayed behind to fix everything without taking credit. Her classmates praise Eden, offering to buy him treats as thanks. Eden politely declines sweets, showing off his candy-filled lunchbox. This kindness and popularity infuriates Debbie, who interprets his behavior as mocking and manipulative. As class begins, students suggest Debbie should have helped with repairs. Eden makes a comment that Debbie interprets as insulting, suggesting she would have made things worse. She reaches for her wand, despite Strength's warnings about forgiveness requiring true strength. The teacher arrives, mentioning upcoming Halloween activities, including a pumpkin carving contest. A student informs the bandaged teacher that Eden fixed everything that Tabbie broke. Though the student apologizes to Tabbie, acknowledging she didn't break things intentionally, the damage to her reputation is done. The scene ends with Tabbie raising her hand urgently, suggesting she's about to respond to this public embarrassment. Tabbie spoke out of turn, asking to use the bathroom. After being marked present, she didn't wait for her teacher to continue before leaving. In the hallway, she revealed to Strength that she was actually lying about needing the bathroom. Her true intention was to confront Eden, whom she described as a bully and manipulator who had everyone fooled. Tabbie walked past the bathrooms as other students began heading to the cafeteria. She declared her intention to put Eden back in his place, claiming he had no powers and couldn't beat her at her own game. Despite Strength expressing concern, Tabbie insisted that real strength meant doing things others were afraid to do. Tabbie snuck into the multi-purpose room where she spotted pumpkins on the floor. She announced she would guarantee victory, ignoring Strength's protests as she began picking up the pumpkins with questionable intentions. On Wednesday during Spirit Week, the school atmosphere was charged with confusion. The morning announcement mentioned a jackal event, which seemed to surprise even the teachers. Students noticed staff had been acting strangely since yesterday, including unexplained changes to activities and refusal to announce decoration contest winners. Debbie struggled to maintain her usual demeanor amid everyone's uneasiness. She retrieved Strength from her pencil case, who suggested teachers might be waiting to announce findings when class started. Tabbie expressed confidence that everyone would be thanking her for crushing the competition, while Strength tried warning her to brace for different reactions. Approaching her locker, Tabbie found a crowd gathered round Eden, who was showing costume prototypes. The sketches looked uncomfortably familiar to Tabbie, causing her panic. Students criticized the designs as goofy and lame, particularly a red one resembling a clown in Fruit Punch, embarrassing Tabbie, who recognized similarities to herself. In class, the teacher announced bad news. The pumpkin carving contest was canceled because someone had destroyed decorations in every homeroom except theirs. As punishment, their class couldn't participate in other Spirit Week activities until the culprit was found. Tabbie was distressed as this wasn't what she intended. Strength encouraged her to confess, even forcing her to speak up in class. Flustered, Tabbie tried blaming Strength, then suggested supernatural causes like monsters or ghosts. The teacher dismissed these ideas and repeated that anyone with real information should talk to him after class. The teacher leaves the classroom, placing Kalem in charge while discussing possible wiggle room for Spirit Week participation. Meanwhile, Strength, a pixie, is hiding in Tabbie's bag, lamenting his failures. Tabbie discovers him, and they have a tense exchange, with Strength giving her the silent treatment. As the students walk to Madlock Mansion, Strength continues conversing with Tabbie from her pocket about her dangerous behavior. Their discussion is interrupted when Eden appears, wearing an elaborate costume with a gas mask, orange lenses, and orange hair, attracting attention from classmates. Magician instructs Tabbie to befriend Eden and lure him to the middle of the mansion where they'll execute their plan. When Tabbie asks Eden to be her buddy in the haunted house, he's skeptical at first. She explains that she's actually scared of this particular haunted house, which contradicts her reputation as the Queen of Spokes. Eden shows genuine concern, offering support and promising to keep her safe, suggesting he'll respect her boundaries if she needs to leave. After an exchange where Eden seems sincere about Tabbie's expertise, they enter Madlock Mansion's haunted house. The darkness inside swallows students whole as they pass through blackout curtains. Eden helps Tabbie navigate while she struggles with lingering aggression from Strength's influence. She's determined to manipulate Eden's hero complex until she can reach Kalem. Tabbie convinces Eden she's fine with dolls, despite the increasingly creepy displays of eyeless dolls, rag dolls with stitched smiles, and beheaded doll bodies rotating in disturbing mobiles. Having grown up in a taxidermist's house, Tabbie isn't genuinely frightened, but she's aware of Eden watching her closely. They navigate through rooms with wind-up doll actors, ventriloquist puppets, and an archway made of doll heads. A suppressed memory surfaces about Eden cutting Tabbie's hair in the past. When confronted, Eden acknowledges remembering the incident, but seems casual about it, frustrating Tabbie, who feels nobody takes her seriously. Her rage builds as she realizes Eden gets away with everything while she suffers consequences. Eden seems regretful about bringing it up, sensing relationship strain. Eden responds to Tabbie's rejection with unexpected accountability, acknowledging his past mistakes like the zoo incident and hair cutting. He admits to blocking out unpleasant memories and expresses genuine remorse, hoping they might become friends someday. Eden even compliments Tabbie's current hair, saying it looks great now. Realizing her emotional outbursts aren't affecting Eden, Tabbie shifts tactics to attack his friendship with Kalem, claiming Kalem hates him and is plotting against him. Eden firmly rejects this notion, expressing complete trust in Kalem as his best friend who has always supported him. Tabbie, however, has proof that their relationship isn't as solid as Eden believes, preparing to reveal what Kalem truly thinks about Eden's costumes and that he hasn't forgiven Eden for past transgressions. A tense confrontation unfolds between Tabbie and Eden. Tabbie insists that Kalem secretly hates Eden, claiming he calls Eden a menace and someone who kicks puppies when they're down. The accusation strikes a nerve with Eden. Tabbie presses further, asserting that Kalem constantly belittles Eden's costumes, hair, grades, and drawings. The confrontation intensifies as Tabbie shouts that Kalem hates Eden. Suddenly, an impossible wind carrying a burnt sugar scent fills the room. A blue explosion of light reveals Kalem materializing in the center of a pentagram. Eden is surprised to see Kalem in an unfamiliar midnight blue outfit. Kalem expresses relief at finally revealing his true feelings, calling Eden insufferable and self-absorbed. Eden trembles but remains composed, arguing that Kalem should have communicated his feelings instead of hiding them. Eden defends himself, saying he's trying to change, but accuses both Kalem and Tabbie of only wanting justification to lash out at others. Eden undergoes a terrifying transformation. His goggles fog with pink and orange hues. His hair floats like tendrils of flame. Kalem, now referred to as Callum, flees through a hidden door, locking it behind him. Eden crashes into the locked door while Tabbie frantically searches for another exit. With no choice but to fight, Tabbie punches Eden's mask, but it has no effect. She flees into a misty adjacent room, hiding behind a tombstone. Overwhelmed with frustration, Tabbie laments that her attempts to be proactive always backfire. She questions if Callum has truly abandoned her to face murderous Eden alone. The scene shifts as glitter falls from a character named Love's hat, whom Tabbie is shaking for emphasis. Tabbie wipes tears from her face while continuing to hold Love, who eventually huffs and dusts off her frilly dress. The final exchange mentions self-love, suggesting a significant turning point in Tabbie's emotional journey. In a chaotic situation, Tabitha finds herself engaged in a conversation with a magical being named Love. They discuss other entities like Magician, Caleb, Strength, and Eden. Love appears as a replacement for Strength, causing Tabitha confusion. Tabitha is hiding behind a tombstone, fearful of Eden, who has become monstrous. Love dismisses Tabitha's concerns, claiming she complains too much. Tabitha desperately wants candy that gives her super strength, but Love rebukes her, suggesting self-affirming exercises instead. Love insists that more power isn't the solution and encourages Tabitha to confide in Eden, despite Tabitha's protests that Eden has become a literal monster intent on harming her. Love loses patience and harshly scolds Tabitha, calling her a little shit, and warning that without friends and a support system, she'll remain sour and despicable. This outburst strikes a nerve with Tabitha, who realizes she needs to survive this encounter before she can work on personal growth. Tabitha grabs Love and flips her upside down, shaking her until a piece of candy falls out. She snatches the candy, causing another transformation. Unlike previous transformations with Strength, this new form makes Tabitha feel vulnerable. Soon after, Eden attacks, slicing her arm with a knife, causing real bleeding. Tabitha escapes Eden's next attack and flees, deciding to head to the funhouse mirror room rather than the doll hall. On her way, she encounters students and a clown. In the panic, some people run directly into Eden's path. Tabitha hopes they're only being chased, not harmed, while wondering how to use Love's powers. Tabitha discovers her wand can shoot a love beam that fills targets with warmth and self-appreciation. Eden pursues her, shattering lights to create darkness. When Tabitha tries to aim at Eden, Love interferes with her control, causing the beam to hit a clown instead. After encouraging the clown to escape, Tabitha enters the mirror maze. In the mirror maze, Tabitha and Love struggle for control of the wand, causing pink beams to ricochet everywhere. Eden appears and deflects beams with his knife. Tabitha gets hit in the face by a beam, feeling a deep disappointment. When Eden charges at her from another doorway, Tabitha strikes him with her wand and tackles him. Despite her small size and limited athletic ability, Tabitha manages to knock Eden off balance. He stumbles backward into the funhouse mirrors, which buckle from the impact. The confrontation continues as Tabitha struggles to understand and control Love's powers while defending herself against the monstrous Eden. Shards of glass fell around Tabbie and Eden during their intense struggle. Tabbie desperately grabbed a mirror fragment while still holding Eden with one arm, but Eden recovered quickly, pushing her aside and causing her to drop the glass. In desperation, Tabbie struck Eden's wrist with her wand, hitting bone. Eden stopped, clutching his injured hand and breathing heavily beneath his mask. Recognizing her only chance to escape, Tabbie ran toward the mansion's exit. Upon reaching the entrance hall, she discovered several trapped students. They explained that clowns had warned them about someone stabbing people, but they couldn't call for help due to a company policy prohibiting phones. Some students had tried alternative exits but never returned. Just as Tabbie began explaining her situation, she noticed a glow and leapt away as Eden's blade cut through the doorway. With nowhere else to run in this dead-end room, Tabbie fired magical beams at Eden, who deflected them toward other students. Despite repeated attempts, Eden continued dodging or deflecting her attacks. Tabbie threw props at Eden, who easily slashed them away. She warned everyone to stay away from his knives. As Eden rushed at her, Tabbie fired blindly while shouting affirmations. The students began encouraging her, causing her beams to grow stronger. Despite landing a punch and smacking Eden with a broken board, he recovered quickly and pinned her to the ground. Just as Eden raised his knife, the haunted house door burst open. Firefighters, paramedics, and Tabbie's classmates rushed in. The magic left Tabbie's body as love returned to her heart. Students praised Tabbie's bravery as police arrested Eden, discovering his weapons were merely costume props. The paramedics treated Tabbie's injuries amid growing cheers from her classmates. Kalem pulled Tabbie away from the admiring crowd to a nearby bench. His demeanor immediately changed as he revealed the attack was intentional. He claimed Magician had difficulty controlling Eden, calling it a simple malfunction. Tabbie didn't believe him, stating that real friends don't abandon each other in difficult situations. With newfound confidence, Tabbie suggested she could handle Magician better than Kalem, proposing they swap pixies. She argued that her track record with pixie powers was more successful. Kalem refused, implying Tabbie treated pixies as disposable tools and suggesting she give him her excess pixies instead. The confrontation ended with Tabbie standing up and placing Love in her pocket. A tense confrontation unfolds as Love makes a small noise of protest but doesn't emerge. Tabbie reluctantly returns to her seat after being told to sit down. She argues heatedly that pixies aren't excess tools, contradicting the suggestion that her new pixie is surplus to the first one. The conversation shifts to Strength's whereabouts, with questions about why he isn't hovering around anxiously as usual. Kalem considers this carefully, adjusting his glasses while contemplating, before quickly reverting to his superior demeanor. Tabbie admits with rising helplessness that she doesn't know where Strength is. She confesses he's gone missing, wasn't in the tape, and didn't appear when called. The realization that she's actually worried about him becomes apparent in her distress. Kalem smugly suggests he should have taken Strength after all. Tabbie protests fiercely that pixies aren't disposable, despite losing track of him. She accuses Kalem of bailing at the first sign of conflict, while he claims he wouldn't have misplaced a pixie in the first place. Tabbie grows suspicious, directly asking if Kalem has information about Strength's disappearance, noting that Magician was the last one with him. Kalem deflects, claiming everyone witnessed Magician returning Strength to Tabbie, though fully bound, and agrees it's strange Strength would vanish at such a pivotal moment. Confusion mounts as Kalem acts ignorant about the situation while promising to keep watch. The conversation shifts to discussing destructive intentions, with someone admitting the damage caused went beyond what they intended. A heated exchange reveals that while the goal was catching Eden red-handed, many students were hurt in the process. Someone justifies this as a necessary evil, while Kalem expresses concern about the scale of chaos and questions why they're resorting to underhanded poaching. Magician tells Kalem to trust that everything is for his own good, promising it will make sense eventually. When Kalem opens his locker, a mint-collared pixie emerges shakily, pleading with Kalem that he's better than this. Kalem remains frozen while Magician urges him to act decisively for his future happiness. Eventually, Kalem grabs his notebook and emotionlessly puts the mint pixie in his bag, despite its pleas, closing his locker with finality.